Hello, an update on a beautiful fall morning. And it's interesting because this is an update of something that happened as I'm training for my trip to walk across England, which that's coming up in May of 2023. We are like 7 months out from that now, which is just absolutely insane to me. We're coming up on it so quickly. And I wanted to share with you, it's been a couple of weeks since this happened, so I've been letting it percolate. And I've learned so much, and my training from this one event has advanced so much. And the thing that happened was I got thoroughly lost, like well and truly lost in the woods on a day much like today, in woods that I thought I knew pretty well. Not as well as I know some of my favorite walks, but that I thought I knew pretty well. And it's interesting because I was there with my 18-year-old, and I do have permission to tell this story, so that's important to me. It feels important to be able to say that. And so we decided to go out into the woods for what we thought was going to be about an hour's walk. Any research that I had done really showed that like there's one path that goes through the woods. I've actually been on this path before. In fact, I've gotten lost on this path before as I think about it. But it wasn't that lost, and it was really fine. So this was a beautiful day. We both had appointments sort of about 3-4 hours hence. He needed to be at work. I needed to be in a massage therapy appointment. We had these like span of many hours ahead of us, and we were like, this will be great. We'll go out into the woods. And we had 8 ounces of water between. I had thought to bring a little thing of water. We had no food. We had cell phones that were like discharged almost completely with no battery packs. And we had our enthusiasm and joy at being together, and that was important. That was actually a lot of fun. So, and it was a gorgeous day. So off we went. And at one point, maybe about an hour in, we started following paths that, again, I was like, yeah, I kind of know where I am. We're good. And Jay said to me, do you want to get lost? Like deliberately get lost? We know where we're going to end up. Like how far away from where we know where we're going to end up can we possibly be? And I was like, sure, that sounds great. So we started basically following trails as we came to them. And this is a place with a lot of bike trails. Sorry, I'm switching hands here with my phone. This is a place with a lot of bike trails, and some of them are marked and some of them aren't. They're not marked on the official DCR, Department of Conservation and Recreation map. And I had thought that at least one of them would lead us to the summit of Goat Hill. And as it turns out, none of them did. And so about 2 hours in, we were in a place where we were now at the other end of a trail that had been marked. It was called Reload. And we were both pretty sure that we'd seen the other end of this trail. And we're both starting to get a little bit, I would say frustrated was a good word. Because we were like, we do need to be back. This is pretty interesting. So we start out, we sort of turn on to Reload, quite sure that we're on the opposite side of it, which it turned out was true. But sometimes it's hard to tell in the woods. The sun moves, position, and everything. So anyway, we start out on it. And we're now moving at a pretty good clip. And we get to a place where there are like there's a crossroads of 3 paths, and none of them are marked. And I was like, well, I have no idea, absolutely no idea which way we should end up here. So what we decided to do was to turn back from there, go back to where we could hear cars, and bushwhack our way through the woods. And at this point, Jay was the smart one, because he said, you know what, Mom, I'm checking my GPS. And I was like, okay, fine. And I want to say, I had thought until that point, I had thought that checking the GPS was, quote, cheating. And Jay showed me different, which was incredibly good. So we finally kind of bushwhack our way out of the woods. We stumble out of the woods so incredibly disoriented, 2 miles, a little more than 2 miles away from our car, in a town that was not the town that we parked our car in. And we were more than a mile on our walk home over surface roads before I understood where we were. We were following the GPS. And I still have trouble believing how far away we were from where we started out. And this whole time we felt so incredibly exhilarated. There's a part of the movie Maverick, if you've seen Top Gun Maverick, Top Gun 2, where he walks into a diner in the middle of the United States somewhere. He's been ejected out of his plane. He has no idea where he is. And we sort of stumbled into a dollar store. And I asked to use the bathroom. And I'm in the bathroom, like getting water, refilling my water bottle, and looking at myself in the mirror. And I was like, I look exactly like Tom Cruise in this movie, in this moment. And we had just watched that movie last night, Jay and I, or the night before we went on this hike. And we were like, wow, this is super wild. So anyway, we get back to the car. We're talking to each other just in this really exhilarated, wildly fun way. We open the sunroof. Jay cranks the tunes. We had this awesome. We arranged for our appointments, or to be we were responsible in terms of our engagements that evening. And we were feeling like we really handled it well. We were talking about what we learned. So we are actually both taking an orienteering class in a couple of weeks. I'm never going into a place where I think I know where I am without like really paying attention in the future. There's a lot that we've learned, like food, water, these things we will have with us. We're not going to be stupid like we were. And we're so glad that nothing bad happened. But what was interesting was that night, I started to think, like I started to have all these judgments on myself. And I was like, holy crap, like you could have died in the woods. And not only that, but you could have killed your kid in the woods. And so I was able to really observe my own thinking and learn from that. How, first of all, like what I want to do is remember, I've heard this saying that you can remember the lesson, but forget the mistake. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remember that when I go into the woods in the future, even if I think I know it well, I'm going to remember to take, if it's a fairly long day that I'm planning, I'm going to take, unless I know it like the back of my hand, like the park that we go to every weekend, I'm going to take water, I'm going to take battery packs, I'm going to take food, I'm going to take a compass, I'm going to, do this right. And I'm going to remember that my GPS is not cheating. It is a useful tool if I've got that at my disposal, which we did. And I'm also going to remember that feeling of like exhilaration and fun. We figured this out and we had a blast doing it. So, so that's my story of being lost in the woods with my kid. And, it has really set me up very well for the future, for this trip. And I wanted to share it with you, partly because of all the mindset challenges that it's really brought to light, but also because I mentioned that I had massage therapy that evening. The massage therapy and the training that I've been doing, the stretching, the self-massage I've been able to do on my tendons, we are now back to we're taking the scar tissue out of the original tendon scarring. And I'm walking and hiking better than I have in decades, even before I had the tendon condition that I now live with. I still had challenge. I would do aerobics or something and I'd be like, ow, ow. Because my hip flexors there's one hip flexor in particular that's really, really scarred. So these things are so, if I hadn't started training for this trip in 6 months ago, which this trip is now coming up in 7 months, so that's 13 months of training, I can't imagine the shape I would not have been in to do it. But now I'm in better shape than I've been in basically in my life, and we're still 7 months out. And I'm due. That day was a 6 mile day. I've done a couple of other 6 mile days. I've been able to walk consistently with joy, and I'm excited because I get to take you along with me on this trip. Thank you so much. If you have even gone over to look at my GoFundMe, I'm going to drop the link in here. If you have supported me by sharing the GoFundMe link, if you have supported me by donating to it, you have no idea what this means to me. It means so much. I feel you in here, right in here, and I am taking you with me on this trip. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I will be back in touch soon with another update. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.